Hello and welcome to Opera Talks with Tom and Friends. This is our second edition of this wonderful program, and I'm joined here today by one new friend and my colleague in this series of programs, Sam Dorf, who's on the faculty at the University of Dayton, the music faculty there, but we have a very special friend with us today, and that's the wonderful soprano, Kara Shay Thomson, who has done so many roles with Dayton Opera. She began with us back in the 2012-2013 season with our production of The Glory of Wagner, where she sang a magnificent Sieglinde. That was followed by Tosca, the consul singing the role of Magda, the title role in Turandot, the title role in Salome, and we're looking forward to, in the 2020-2021 season, her Donna Anna in Don Giovanni, a role that she's revisiting after a few years away from that role. So I'm going to ask my friend Sam to sort of guide us through some questions in our program today, and I'll let him lead off here.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Tom. Just listing all those amazing Dayton Opera productions that I feel so lucky to have heard Kara Shay sing in. It was just like this walk down Dayton Opera memory lane. All of those really fantastic roles. And we have a new role for you, Kara Shay, that is unlike some of the others. So you will be singing the role of Donna Anna this fall from Don Giovanni. Can you tell us, who is Donna Anna? Tell us a little bit about her and her place in Mozart's Don Giovanni.
Well, she's a privileged woman and has been taken care of pretty much most of her life. And I think, though, she very much is a daddy's little girl, in my opinion. And she gained a lot of strength from being a part of that family and seeing her father, who was very strong. And so therefore, her aspect of vengeance for her father's death in Don Giovanni is well-deserved. And she has a passion that I think is beyond every other character except for Don Giovanni. I think actually their passions are equal, but on different planes. And I also really feel that Donna Anna is the one that that's the audience for the show, that she represents our disgust for his behavior, our disgust for the situation, our empathy for losing her father. So I think she really represents kind of as does the Countess in Figaro, except that we are not asked to forgive in this case, as the Countess asks us to forgive the Count. So I think that she definitely represents all of the things that well up within each one of us when those things have been done to us or to someone we know.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up. I mean, for years I've had a problem with this opera, right? So for those who aren't familiar with the plot of Don Giovanni, I mean, Don Giovanni is a despicable character, but he's kind of the hero of this work in many ways, right? I mean, he's the title character.
Right.
And so, this is something I've always wrestled with, but especially now, and I hate to call it the Me Too era but it's just the era in which we actually talk about, these issues of violence against women, especially in the workplace. How do we stage an opera like this? And this is a question for you, Kara Shay, as you think about how Donna Anna plays a role in this story today, right? But also to you, Tom, as you think about how do we approach an opera like Don Giovanni in this day and age? If Kara Shay, if you want to talk first, maybe a little bit about Donna Anna.
Sure. Well, I actually think that it's even more appropriate now than ever. So in 1787, I think that's right, 1787 was the debut. The eyes and ears that watched and listened to this show are very different from the eyes and ears that watch it now. We have been overwhelmed with the stories and the recounts of people who have experienced and been a part of the #MeToo movement. And I think that you could set Giovanni today, I think, easily, because it is a man of privilege taking advantage of those that want to maybe gain power through him or be with him. And I think that there is very easily, I could probably write a libretto that would go into 2020 instead of 1787. So I think, Tom, I don't know about you, but I think that it gives a director a chance to explore that. Even if you stay in the time period, you're dealing with an audience that lives in 2020. And so they look at it very differently. And I think you can exploit that in a way that allows us to see how times have not really changed.
Right. I mean, and it to do a piece like this in this time, I think is particularly poignant. I mean, particularly relevant and what we should be doing. I mean, we can't deny that there are people out there like that, and we're not giving credence to or validity to that approach, or that kind of person. But we can't deny that it's still around, and it's a good thing for this time to be doing this piece, I think. Yes.
Yeah, those Don Giovanni-like behaviors are sadly all too common. And for me, one of the things that I always found so odd is the way that the opera both celebrates him, right, as this rake, right? That was the word that was taught to us when we were, in undergrad. He's like, oh, he's just a rake, and that the music, treats him so kindly. But it is, there are ways in which, and I think you both brought these up, of really sort of getting into how these roles can be more complicated. Now,
and it is sublime music, that's for sure.
That's actually, for me, the juxtaposition of it is that the music that he is given is so beautiful, and yet the person singing it is not. And so we all experience that in our lives as well. But that's the beauty of Mozart, is that even then he knew if you couch it in beauty, you get away with a lot more, right? And I think that's the genius.
And I know, Sam, you're the question man, but I have a question for Kara Shay about coming back to Mozart after the last role, having done here at the Dayton Opera being Salome, for gosh sakes. How is Mozart treating your voice in coming back to it? I mean, it's I've heard so many singers say that it's a balm for the voice. It's the thing that you need to come back to every once in a while. How do you feel about that?
I do feel that, Tom. My teacher was Rita Shane, and she always said, if you are singing Wagner, if you are singing Strauss, you always incorporate something Mozart in your lesson or in your day, or even if it's just a run. And I will tell you that I have used the Cabaletta in Non mi dire forever as a warm-up, because I figure if you can sing that, you can sing anything, right? I will say that there is, coming back to it, I find the ability to do things with it I wasn't able to do before, and to take the size of a voice that can sing over an orchestra for Salome, but then concentrate that sound so that when you're in an ensemble, that you don't dominate, that you blend. And so that, for me, is a real exercise in the elegance of singing. And so I'm excited to do that. I'm also very excited, as you list off all the roles that I've done at Dayton Opera, many of them are very solo oriented. And one of the things I love about Mozart and I love about Don Giovanni are the
The
ensembles.
ensembles,
And
right?
getting to sing and hear the overtones with your colleague, and I don't want to. I just love that opportunity. So that part is very exciting for me.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah, I
great.
can't wait.
Good. Good.
That's wonderful. So, clearly this isn't your first time singing this role. When was the last time you sang Donna Anna?
Donna Anna, I think the last time was, well, my daughter was 5 and she is 16.
Oh, wow.
Right.
So it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. And the last time I did it, it was in a repertory summer program. And so on the night that I wasn't singing Donna Anna, I was stage mom for the Bohème kids because my daughter was in the Bohème chorus. So I somehow thought it was a good idea to be the stage mom and not have a night off. But it was, that experience was amazing. I really, the opportunity to sing that, I'd sung the Countess quite a few times prior to that, but I find that Giovanni is a little bit more complex just vocally than the Countess for me.
Yeah. So do you, so this isn't your first Don Giovanni, but do you have any other, I mean, this, being the stage mom during Bohème while you're singing Donna Anna is a great memory, but I mean, this is an opera I've seen many, many times. I was wondering if both of you might, reflect. Do you have a favorite Don Giovanni memory, either as a performer or in the audience or backstage?
For me, nothing particularly backstage or anything, just remarkable performances. Leontine Price singing Donna Anna, I mean, Cesare Siepi is a wonderful Don Giovanni, Samuel Ramey. I mean, there are lots of very memorable. Kirita Kanawa singing Donna Elvira. I mean, those are great performances of these great roles. Kara Shay, what do you?
Well, I have to say, I had an opportunity in my career to sing Bluebeard's Castle with Sam Raimi, but before I arrived at rehearsal, his Giovanni for me was amazing, and I have to say, I was very starstruck on the first day of rehearsal for Bluebeard, because all I could think about was when I sat at the Met and watched the Giovanni, and I think that he really embodied it, and I think many have copied it. But I think it's a great role. I mean, who wouldn't say yes, right? It's all the things you want to sing and all of the things you want to do. So I think as a whole, the cast that Tom has put together for the Dayton Don Giovanni is just going to blow everyone away. I'm so excited, and it's gonna it's like the tallest cast ever too.
Yes, yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, the Don Giovanni, Norman Garrett, was your Yochanan in Salome, so it's a wonderful reunion for the two of you, right?
Yeah, slightly different roles.
A little bit different.
Yeah, slightly.
Tom, can you tell us who else is going to be featured in this production?
Kasia Borovic, a wonderful soprano and alumna of the Artist in Residence program at Dayton Opera, is singing the role of Donna Elvira. Leporello is Nate Stark. Let's see, who else? You asked me this, and I wasn't thinking about that. Kara Shay, do you remember anybody else that's in this?
It's all on the room.
It's a long group of singers, but those are the important characters that populate this opera that has, I mean, so many great arias, so many great things in it. Yeah,
it's going to be great. And when will this production be?
It's in February of 2021. So hopefully
by that time, right, we're hoping that we'll be able to get together again, right? Celebrate music, to make music, and to be in a space where live music is going on. Right now, May 13th is the date, 2020. That is not going on. And I wanted to ask both of you, if you can, reflect a little bit on how COVID-19 is impacting not just music in general, but specifically opera in America right now? What are the implications of this in the operatic world today?
Go ahead, Kara Shay.
It's devastating. It's for us that work together to create something new every time we arrive at a company, and we look forward to the time that we can develop and be close and sit next to each other and share meals together, live in the same housing, especially the summer programs especially. I think that it has been a huge blow, and especially to a community of people that are artistic, and therefore we are very close. Our souls are very close to that special space. And so when we realize that's not going to happen, it's very hard for us to shift gears and reimagine. But I will say, the reimagining is happening. It's slow, but I think that people are looking for ways to create again. And that creation may be something we've never seen before. And so I think I would say to people who are waiting to buy their next season ticket or for their next subscription, do that, so that we have the opportunity, that companies have the opportunity to reimagine. Because if they don't have the ability to reimagine, then it may never come back, right? So I feel for all of my colleagues that are mourning the loss of course, everyone mourns the loss of the paycheck, right? It's not really that. I have to tell you that the mighty dollar is not what's at the bottom line of this. It's the fact that we love to create and we love to be a part of something that is collaborative. And so we will wait, and we will wait patiently and think and create and pray for the day when we can all be back together again.
And to have hugs again.
Right.
I mean, to come into that first rehearsal and to embrace my colleagues is, I mean, and we're not going to be doing that for some time to come now.
And I think, sometimes the audience, when they buy their ticket and they sit in their seat, they don't see the month or the 5 weeks or 6 weeks, depending on the production, the time that you've spent creating another family around the production, and really the daily operations of a company and the crew and the administration. It all works in this kind of behind the scenes way that no one really sees. And that's the part that most of us, we love the creative process. We love to perform, don't get me wrong. I love
right. Yeah.
But I think it's hard to think about how I miss people. I mean, I think we all miss people, but I miss the idea of packing up my stuff and heading off to the next adventure. So we'll get there. We will get there. It may not look the same.
We absolutely will get there.
We will get there. I believe we will get there. And I believe that so much that you keep singing every day, keep singing, keep thinking, keep creating, so that when the time does come, that we just blow the top off of it when it happens.
I mean, in all of this, I've never done so many things virtually than it's new meaning for the word and mitigate. I mean, that's did we ever use that word so much before?
Yeah.
Before this I don't think so, but it's really, we just have to pull together and know that there's going to be that next great production will happen, and that we'll find it and triumph together with it. Yeah.
So what are some things that in the interim, right, as we're waiting to be able to return to the Schuster Center, what are some things that Dayton Opera patrons and fans can do now? I mean, what are some ways that they can stay connected and support, right? Aside from,
Exactly. Well, I mean, we always hope that they'll think, I mean, none of this was of our doing at all. And of course it has a financial ramification. And so, I mean, the willingness of folks to donate back the tickets that they purchased is a big help to us, but it's buying that ticket for the future production that's the absolute most important thing. Yeah. So.
I would say if you've been a subscriber, that this is, of all the years you've been a subscriber, this is the year to continue your subscription, because it's impossible for people to think that the bigger companies, yes, the bigger the company, the bigger the endowment, right? Because people want to give to bigger companies. But I think give locally to your arts organizations. And Dayton has done such a great job of blending all of their arts together to work in this amazing collaborative effort. And I think that it's really important that people, when they see their local arts asking for help, that they give. It's wonderful to watch the Met live, or to watch the Met productions, and to watch everyone else that's streaming things for free, and that's fantastic, so that it can fill your soul with all of the things that you need. But locally, the money really needs to go locally, so that those companies like Dayton Opera can stay a functioning unit until we can be back together again.
Right. Absolutely. So I want us to leave us with give our audience and our viewers something to maybe, not really homework, but I always find it really interesting whenever I talk to an artist. I'm always curious what they're listening to or what they're watching. And it doesn't always have to be opera, right? Like it could be your favorite Netflix series or something like that. But I'm just curious, what are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you engaging with? What art is powering you through this very difficult time for everybody in this uncertain time? What would Dayton Opera fans, what are you watching or listening to that they need to hear or see too?
Go ahead, Kara Shay.
Okay, so I love Radiolab. Sometimes it's very hard as an artist to listen to music because it wells up so many emotions, and you either are judging the music or the singer. But right now, it's been difficult for me to listen because I find myself right on the edge of losing it. So I tend to not want to spend every day on the edge. So Radiolab, that I have thoroughly enjoyed the Dolly Parton's America. It is an amazing journey of an amazing songwriter, musician. It's all the things that she's so strong and came from such poverty and through so many adversities, and just, it's an amazing story. So if you have, it's a 9-part series. I find that they're about an hour long each. I found that to be inspiring, and it carried me away, which is what you're kind of looking for, right? Something to carry you away. And then honestly, when all else fails for me, I listen to Mozart quintets. Not because I'm doing, I didn't segue that because I'm doing Mozart, but I just find that to be very soothing for me. So
awesome. I love it.
Yeah. And with Echo or Google, you can pretty much pull up just about anything. So I just encourage people to continue filling their hearts and their souls with music, whatever it is.
I'm going to throw it back in your lap, Sam. What are you listening to? What are you?
The new Fiona Apple. What else? Listen to a lot of stuff. I'm a sucker for Poulenc, so I've been listening to the dialogues of the Carmelites, which is, maybe it's a secret, I don't know, but I like dark, depressing stuff. So like the dialogues of the Carmelites, these nuns that are like all about to die, this like little vestige of hope, and then they all get their heads cut off. It feels very, it resonates with the world I imagine today. So that and the artist Anoni's 2016 album Hopelessness. That's that's what I've been listening to since you asked, Tom.
Yeah, and I did. And for me, I mean, I actually don't listen to music a lot outside of work. And I've been, of course, watching the Met stream each night. But I mean, the thing that I watched the other night, which was wonderfully interesting, was the documentary about the building of the Opera House at Lincoln Center, and Leontine Price was in the documentary throughout, sort of commenting. Of course, she was a part of the first production that opened the Opera House, the Samuel Barber, Antony and Cleopatra. But I mean, it was so wonderful to see her and the regal personage that she is. But it was particularly poignant because to see this phoenix rising out of the ground there at Lincoln Center, and thinking how important an image that is for us as we get through this corona virus thing, that we rise like the phoenix out of the ashes and to be, triumphant once again. So that it gave me encouragement to keep going and knowing that a big project like building the Metropolitan Opera House can have some significance for us today. So that's what I've been watching. So
Okay, Tom, you win.
Well, good. Thank you both for joining me as great friends of Dayton Opera. Sam, you'll be back with me on the next edition, whatever that may be. We'll cook up something. And we thank you all and continue to support Dayton Opera, and all the best.